could implement specific market process changes ahead of T+1 in an ideal world, what would those be? So if we were going to summarise that from your wish list, Mike, I'll start with you and then we'll go around.
So if we can make it mandatory, and the thing is the reality is we probably won't for the start of T+1, but if we can start having building blocks to a process where, what I just said, if an issuer is constructing a deal, they have to speak to their agent if they use an issuer agent, right? Ahead of it going public, and allowing the registrar, the issuer agent, to assess and validate the event from a risk perspective. And again, corporate advisories will play a role here as well. But if we can implement that as a rule and mandate that, I think that would help everybody as well. That'd be my one big thing. So the timetable effect that I'm referring to, and that elongated timetable, that will become a reality because we know there'll be stewardship, there'll be validation, there will be somebody reviewing the event details in the right way.
Richard?
Right, so if I was given the magic lamp and I could have my three wishes, I'd like to see true standardization in Europe where CSDs, tax authorities, are better aligned. That'd be one. Secondly, I'd like to see deadlines as close to end of day as possible, and preferably after the settlement cutoff, so the versus payment settlement cutoffs. And then I think thirdly, I'm not going to be greedy. I think them two will do.
Okay, Martin.
Wow. I just echo Mike's statement regarding involve us as early as possible. And going back to Richard's point, is there's generally at the receiving agent or registrar's role, there's usually a wealth of experience and knowledge, and wherever possible, engagement with us at an early stage enables us to be able to influence and try to guide complex events away from potential pitfalls that we're going to give Mike and Richard a whole heap of pain in trying to deliver. And in some cases, they may get to the stage where their organizations are going to have to say, we can't actually support that element of that event. So to avoid that, the early communication is absolutely key. My one wish, and I don't know whether or not this is something which Mike and Richard would see added value, is simplification of the documentation. Scheme documents are hefty old beasts, and they are full of a lot of information, and I'm sure it's absolutely required. But for me, is there a succinct way of pulling out the key elements of this event in a format that is digestible and understandable to actually highlight that? Going back to my point earlier on, where it's read the document. I know the document's difficult to read because they are big old beasts. So yeah, some way of mandating a simplification of that, and then we can hopefully lead to a lot more reasonable information coming out. We do spend a lot of time creating customer helplines whenever these events are going off for exactly that, because people get these documents and they're massive. They're just not sure what to do with them. And it's not just the certificated world. We get calls from institutional investors. We get calls from some of Mike's team, some of Richard's team from time to time saying, what's this one about? We're not sure on how it's playing out. So simplification of that to make everyone's life so much easier to understand what the event's about. That would be my one.
Simplified corporate actions data at source. I think people have been calling for that for a long time. So I'm sure most of the industry would agree with you on that front.